Good evening and welcome to the January 9th St. Charles County Council meeting. We'll begin our meeting with an invocation, if you'd all stand, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Terry Hollander. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, and deliver us from evil. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Joe Brazel. Here. Councilmember Mike Elam.
Here.
Councilmember Dave Hammond.
Here.
Councilmember Joe Cronin.
Here.
Councilmember Terry Hollander.
Here.
Councilmember Mike Klinghammer. Councilmember John White.
Here.
Okay, we're going to move on to the election of council chair. I would like to open the floor for nominations for chairman of the council for 2017. Council member will make their nomination, and a second is needed. Is there any nomination out there today?
Yes. I would like to nominate Mike Elam to be our next council chairman.
Second.
Any other nominations? All in favor of Councilman Elam? Aye. Opposed? Mr. Elam, you are new the council chair.
Yay.
I don't have to move, do I?
Thank you, sir.
Musical chairs. Listen, there's chairs back there too.
We get everybody situated. All right, nameplates right? Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate that. So now I would like to open the floor for nomination for vice chair for the council. Do I hear any nominations?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Dave Hammond as vice chairman.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, all those in favor of Councilman Hammond being vice chair?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Congratulations, Dave. Excellent. All right. Next on is public presentations. I don't believe we have any for this evening. So we're up to public comments. So public comments, we will accept 6 speakers, 3 on each side. You have 3 minutes in which to make your point. After your 3 minutes, you'll hear a beep go on. I'll ask you to wrap up comments, and then we'll move on to the next speaker. So Donna, who's our first speaker?
You have
Carol.
Jacqueline Cops.
Jacqueline.
I'm rezoning, asking permission or whatever for rezoning to have a preschool in my basement, which I'm finishing right now. So I just filled out that card. That way, if you guys need to ask me any questions, I can answer them.
Excellent. When we get to the bill, if we have any questions, we'll call you up.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. Next.
The other was Brandon, but I'm assuming, Brandon, you do not want to speak. Okay.
Way to be time efficient, Brandon. That works. Next speaker.
That's it. That's all I have.
That's all we have for public comments? Excellent. Move on to oral report from the county executive.
I'd like to yield my time to Chief Todd. We're going to make a presentation. Would you like this to come forward?
We're very appreciative of this time tonight. We want to celebrate Rob Wiley. He's about to retire from the Cotterville Fire Department, among many other functions across his career of 30 years with the fire service. He also has been a medic for the St. Charles County Regional SWAT team for the past 20 years. And I want to say for his last hurrah, Rob was responsible for pulling a woman from a burning vehicle while under gunfire in Ferguson. So he has served the county and the citizens of St. Charles very well, both as a tactical medic and as a representative of the fire service, which hurts me to say. So, Mr. Ullman?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and present the proclamation. I'm not going to read it,
Okay.
but, well, maybe I should. You didn't go into his history much.
It would go on forever. I'll let you read it, sir.
Okay. Whereas Rob Wiley, Chief Operating Officer of Cotterville Fire Protection District, is retiring on December 30th, 2016 after 30 years of fire service career, St. Charles County government is pleased to acknowledge and applaud his faithful service to county citizens and to county government on the occasion of his retirement. Whereas Rob Wiley spent 5 years as a firefighter with the St. Charles Fire District and 14 years with Central County Fire Rescue, where he became Assistant Chief and was hired in 2005 as Chief of the Cotterville Fire Protection District, where he served for 11 years. And whereas Rob Wiley is a graduate of Lindenwood University, the University of Maryland Staff and Command School, and the National Fire Academy's Executive Fire Officer Program, and whereas over his illustrious fire service career, Rob Wiley has served in many capacities, including Director of the St. Charles Warren County Hazmat Team, President of the Greater St. Louis Fire Chiefs Association, President of the Professional Fire and Fraud Investigators Association, Chairman of the St. Louis Area Regional Response System, and membership on the Governor's Homeland Security Advisory Council and the State of Missouri's Fire Education and Safety Commission. And whereas Rob Wiley has served as a tactical medic and a tactical emergency medical support leader with the St. Charles Regional SWAT Team for 20 years, and in November 2014 was part of the team that rescued a woman who was involved in a motor vehicle accident while under fire during the Ferguson protest. He was the instant commander for the May 31, 2013 tornado response. And whereas Rob Wiley is a past member of the St. Charles County Emergency Services Communications Policy Commission, the county's local emergency planning committee, and the Radio Communications Policy Commission. And whereas a certified instructor through the Missouri Police Officers Standards Commission, the Department of Homeland Security Center for Domestic Preparedness, as well as the Missouri State Fire Marshal's Office, Rob Wiley plans to continue teaching and lecturing after retirement. And whereas Rob Wiley is married to wife Ling Fu and has one son, Mac, now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Steve Ellman, St. Charles County Executive on behalf of St. Charles County Government, do hereby extend sincere congratulations to Rob Wiley, Cotterville Fire Protection District Chief, on the occasion of his retirement, and further offer best regards in the future, and looking forward to working with you, Chief.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this more than I can say. The cooperation that I've experienced with St. Charles County government over my career has been one of the things that I've most treasured, and I think it's been a great service to the community as a whole, as well as we work together. Working with Chief Todd, with Mr. Ellman, with Joanne, with Jennifer, it's been a great pleasure, and it's allowed us to do a lot of great things for the citizens. And listening to Mr. Ellman read that, I'm kind of exhausted. It's a good thing I had to retire. I had to read it. But thank you very much. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Mr. Ellman, you have anything further?
No, sir.
Excellent. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
Move to accept. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Now we'll move on to bills for final passage, starting with Substitute Bill 4412. Carol?
Substitute Bill 4412, an ordinance amending the zoning district map of the County of St. Charles, Missouri by rezoning land from A Agricultural District to RR Single Family Residential District as per application RZ 16-14.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, call the roll.
An ordinance amending the zoning district map of the County of St. Charles, Missouri by rezoning land from A Agricultural District to RR Single Family Residential District as per application RZ 16-14. Councilmember Cronin.
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel.
Yes.
Councilmember Hammond.
Yes.
Councilmember Elam.
Yes.
Councilmember Hollander.
Yes.
Councilmember White.
Yes.
Excellent. Substitute Bill 4412 passes. Move on to Bill 4421.
Bill number 4421, an ordinance approving a First Amendment to the intergovernmental agreement with the City of St. Charles for a MO Missouri 94 corridor study.
Any questions or comments on Bill 4421? Seeing none.
An ordinance approving a First Amendment to the intergovernmental agreement with the City of St. Charles for a Missouri 94 corridor study. Councilmember Brazel?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammond?
Yes.
Councilmember Elam?
Yes.
Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Next up is bills for introduction, starting with Bill 4422.
Bill number 4422, request by Michael Herbert, sponsored by Joe Brazel. An ordinance amending the zoning district map of the County of St. Charles, Missouri by rezoning land from R1B PUD FFFW, single-family residential district with planned unit development, floodway fringe, and floodway overlay districts, to AFFFW, agricultural district with floodway fringe and floodway overlay districts, as per application RZ 16-16.
Any questions or comments on 4422? Seeing none, move on to Bill 4423.
Bill number 4423, request by Michael Herbert, sponsored by Joe Brazel. An ordinance granting conditional use permit CUP 16-10 for a preschool to Brandon R. Copps and Jacqueline K. Copps, property owners.
Any questions?
I got a question.
Start with Mr. Brazel.
John, you guys are working on that home daycare bill. Is this, the way you guys are molding it, is it's going to be a little more beneficial for people who are trying to do home daycares, correct?
Yes, it'll be beneficial for people or the applicants, and also an opportunity for people in the surrounding area within a certain number of feet to, have a possibility of stating their opinion whether it should be there or not.
When do you plan on having that?
It probably won't be ready for, we'll have a work session on it sometime in probably February.
Is that, Keith, how does that work? If this goes through, does it revert to the new bill that's passed, or will they have to stick to the old?
They'll stick
guidelines?
to the old one. I will mention to you, I sat through the P&Z presentation on this particular application. I think, knowing what I know about the bill that Councilmember White is pursuing, this property is on 6 acres. The closest house is probably further away from this house than any distance limit we would be putting into the bill that's under review right now.
So does it give advantages to like having more children or anything like that where they'd want to wait or not?
I don't think, as long as they are state licensed, I think it'll, our bill hopefully will duplicate the state's licensing.
Okay, yeah, and this is a family farm. Their dad lives across the street, the brother lives next door, the neighbors are all, so there's nobody, everyone's good with this. I was just
They
asking.
get state license.
So if they're under 4, I mean, they didn't even need to come forward, but if there's more than, if it's up to 10, then they do need to come forward.
Well, that's what you plan on doing, right, Brandon? Yeah, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Will the new bill require state licensing?
Yes.
Okay. And these folks have, okay.
Any other questions? Let's move forward.
Bill number 4424, request by Michael Herbert, sponsored by John White. An ordinance amending Ordinance 16-95, establishing the Saratoga Heights Sanitary Sewer Neighborhood Improvement District and ordering the preparation of plans and specifications.
Questions or comments on 4424? Seeing none, move on to 4425.
Bill number 4425, request by Joe Cronin, Mike Klinghammer, sponsored by Joe Cronin and Mike Klinghammer. An ordinance amending sections 405.060, 405.215, 405.220, 405.223, and 405.510, and enacting a new section 405.523 of Unified Development Ordinances, Chapter 405, Ordinances of St. Charles County, Missouri.
Questions or comments on 4425? Mr. Cronin.
This actually just makes our UDO a little bit more workable, like what the cities are using. So when you see the conditional use permits come before you, or even the PUDs, you'll see some preliminary information to base your decision off of. So Mr. Klinghammer and I have been working on this for a while, and Jennifer's put a lot of effort into it, so we should be ready to go by next meeting.
Does this put more burden on the applicant?
No, because the concept plan is pretty, Mike can get more into it, but the concept plan is pretty basic. Basically, they show where the size of the building, it doesn't require an engineer seal, okay? It just has the basic information we need to make the decisions, right? So it shouldn't be matter just to, for the burden to the applicant would be sit down with a piece of paper in about 15 minutes.
Sketch it out or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, move on to 4426.
Bill number 4426, request by Steve Elman, Michael Herbert, sponsored by council as a whole. An ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute an agreement amending the contract authorized by ordinance 08-154, 09-72, and 14-22 with the St. Charles County Soil and Water Conservation District for the purpose of providing certain services to the county.
Any questions or comments? Dave?
Yes, I have a question. Is this service, is this mandated by the state? And are we obligated to pay for this service?
I don't know, we've done it since I've been here, and nobody's asked that question. So we can certainly find out by the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'll mention the portion of what they do provide is something that we're committed to doing under our MS4 permit. They do a portion of the activities for us, but their major underlying contract will, Mike, are you able to address that today, or should we have Rich handle that next meeting? Okay. On the remainder of the question, we'll be back in touch.
Well, I know they submit reports and give soil classifications, but those are so general, I think anybody can go to a book and get those that are already published, what soil conditions are out in any part of the county. But I always wondered if that was something that was mandated. Thank you.
Mr. Cronin?
I've used these folks before, and farmers use these folks quite a bit. They are the ones that will come up with erosion plans for farmland. They're also ones that give preliminary plans out for construction ponds and lakes in the county. So I think their services are a bit more than we realize, and that'd be something we can find out for the next meeting too.
Mr.
White.
Chairman, I've used these people in my district for citizens that come forward with erosion problems, stormwater issues, and how to correct that, and they would come in and advise people how to correct it and stabilize stream banks. So they do work in our districts if we ask them.
Okay. Mr. Elman?
Yeah, I think everything everyone said is true, but I think Mr. Hammond's got a good point. A lot of this stuff that you have to go to them to get is now available, on the internet, on our website. So let us look into it. But there certainly are other things that they do other than just provide those maps.
Any further questions or comments on 4426? Seeing none, move on to 4427.
Bill number 4427, request by Michael Herbert, sponsored by Joe Cronin. An ordinance relating to housing and community assistance, and one, approving the 2017 annual action plan for St. Charles County, Missouri, and its capacity as an urban county for fiscal year 2017 through 2019 under the Community Development Block Grant Program of the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, and authorizing the county executive to execute all documents or certifications required for submittal to HUD with the action plan, and two, further authorizing the county executive to execute the funding approval agreements that HUD shall require upon approving the 2017 annual action plan.
Any questions or comments on 4427? Seeing none, we'll move on to 4428.
Bill number 4428, request by Steve Elman, sponsored by John White, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute an agreement with the University of Missouri Extension Council of St. Charles County to provide educational programs and services at a cost to the county of $100,000.
Questions or comments on 4428? Seeing none, move on to 4429.
Bill number 4429, request by Steve Elman, sponsored by Joe Cronin, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a professional service agreement between St. Charles County, Missouri and the United States Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Missouri in conjunction with the Missouri Highway Patrol as fiscal agent and Sarah Cobble-Knoll as an independent contractor, And further amending ordinance 16-110 to add one additional month to the term of the professional services agreement of Angie E. Danis.
Any questions or comments on 4429? Seeing none, move on to 4430.
Bill number 4430, request by Steve Almond, sponsored by council as a whole, an ordinance amending section 115.705.A.15 of the ordinances of St. Charles County, Missouri, OSCCMO, concerning the overtime provisions of the Personnel Administration Plan.
Any questions on Bill 4430? Seeing none, that wraps up bills for introduction. Any announcements, miscellaneous? Any parties going on in anyone's district that you want to promote at this particular time? Just looking at you two. There's always something going on in District 1 and 2.
Nope, it's pretty
All right. Well, I would entertain a motion for dismissal.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Is it